Welcome back everyone. So in today's video we are going to learn about the method overloading. In the previous video we have learned about method overriding, which is an example of the runtime polymorphism. But today we are going to learn about method overloading. So what exactly is method overloading? Method overloading is basically a compile time polymorphism. In the previous video, as I said, we have learned about method overriding, and over there it was the runtime polymorphism. Runtime polymorphism means during the runtime it is decided which method has to be called, but this is compile time polymorphism. So what is method overloading? Can a Java class have multiple methods with the exact same name? Yes, we can have that. We can have, multiple methods with exactly the same name, but only if you know the rules of the game. So what are the rules of the game? One thing is sure, that we can have multiple methods with exactly the same name, but there are certain rules to follow. Let's check the rules. One name, multiple forms. That's the definition of polymorphism, right? One name, different form. One name, multiple forms. So same method name plus different parameters is equal to overloading. Method overloading allows single action to handle different types of input seamlessly. It means, have a look over here. Why developers rely on a method overloading? Because to keep the code clean, to have the reusability of the code and all that. But that's the whole idea behind the OOPS concept, right? Have a look over here. There are three methods with different names. That is, add two numbers, add three numbers, and add decimals. Rather than doing this, what we can do is we can keep exactly the same name. As you can see over here, there are three different methods with exactly the same name, but the parameters should differ. Overloading by parameter quantity. The simplest way to overload a method is to change the number of parameters it accepts. Java treats these as entirely separate instructions. So have a look over here. In this particular class, we have class math operation. There are two methods. Name of the methods are exactly the same, but over here there are two parameters, and over here there are three parameters. So the number of parameters are different, right? So this is allowed, and during the compile time only it is decided which method is to be called. Okay, so the first rule is the number of parameters should differ. Next, overloading by data type. You can keep exactly the same number of parameters. Even if you want the same number of parameters, okay, but at least the data type should differ. The compiler instantly recognizes the difference between an integer and a text string. So have a look over here. There are two methods, show and show. Both are having exactly one parameter, but the first one is integer and the second method is having the string parameter. So the parameter, if they are same, so they should differ by the data type. Okay. Then how Java decides which method to run? The compiler acts as a router, matching your provided arguments to the exact parameter list of the overloaded method. Okay, so incoming is like we give a call to the function. There are two parameters over here. The compiler decides, okay, there are quantity 2, type is integer. So out of these two, which method will be called? This method. Why? Because it is matching. There are two arguments that we are passing, two numbers, and over here there are two parameters. So this is matching. So the compiler decides to give a call to this function. Understand, this is happening during compilation and not during runtime. Okay, let's move forward. demystifying compile time polymorphism, that is understanding compile time polymorphism. Polymorphism means many forms because Java wires up overloaded methods at the factory stage. Factory stage means compilation time. Based on the parameters, it is known as compile time polymorphism. Okay. So the compiler only cares about the signature. What do you mean by signature? This is the parameter list that decides the signature, right? So the signature should match. When resolving overloaded method, Java exclusively looks at the method signature, that is the name and the parameters. It completely ignores the return type. Now this is a very, very important point. It does not care about the return type. It only cares about the number of parameters, the data type. Okay? Understand that the return type trap. Now you might say these are two different signatures because over here it is integer, over here it is double, but int is there. So they are two different signatures, right? So it is okay. No. The return type is completely ignored by the compiler. It only cares about the parameters, the quantity, and the data type. This is very important. The return type does not matter over here. Please understand. Okay. So the golden rules of overloading: method names must be exactly identical. Parameters must differ either by the total count or by the data type. The return type is completely irrelevant to the compiler's routing decision. Please remember, return type does not decide anything. It is ignored by the compiler. Now, let us just go to the VS Code and we will just execute this program. Okay, what we just saw. So here we are inside the VS Code and I'm going to take a new file. Let me just name this as a demo.java and I'm going to have this under the Java folder. And here we go. Okay, and I will say class demo, and inside that I'm not going to have any kind of the object variables. I'm just going to say int add, and I will say int egg, there we go. Again, I'm going to say int add, and there we go. Right? That's the Copilot doing the work for us. And then we can have the main method as well. Here it is. Okay. So I do not need to create another class for the main. So I included everything into this. Okay. So now we have two methods. Name is exactly the same. First one is 2 parameters and the second one is 3 parameters. Let us just run this code and see what output do we get. Okay. So here we are. And I'm going to go to the Java folder. So cd dot add inside the Java folder cls, and then I'm going to say Java C, that is the compilation, demo.java. Okay, and then I will say Java demo. And there you go. We have first 5 and then 9. Why? Because over here 2 and 3, that is 5, and this is 2 plus 3 plus 4, that is 9. Okay. And what is happening over here is, for this particular statement, that is add 2 comma 3, it is matching to this, isn't it? So this method will be called, and for the 3 parameters this method will be called. So this is called as compile time polymorphism. What if I just change this as double? I make this as double. Let us see whether this is going to work or not. So I'm going to say CLS, and then let me just try to compile this, and you can see that it has worked, but it has been completely ignored by the compiler, and that's the reason we are able to run this. Okay, just a minute over here, and I I enter, and can you see 5 and 9.0? Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to keep exactly the 2 parameters over here and remove the C from here. And now let us see what happens if I say double or whatever it is. Okay, so these are exactly the same. Now if I save this and I come over here, CLS, and there you go. We have the error over here. Okay, I have 3 parameters over here, so I'm just going to remove this. So it's not matching. Now it's perfectly matching, right? So I'm going to, let us see what happens right now. That is, okay, let me just type it, Java C demo.java, and there you go. We have the error already defined in the class demo. So this is not allowed. And as I said, okay, that the return type is completely ignored. So even if I keep this as double and make this as 3 parameters, it is still going to work, as I showed you, because the return type is completely ignored by the compiler. So I hope that this concept is very much clear to you. So if you really like my videos, so I would appreciate if you can just subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.